All right, hi guys. I just got reprimanded by
Terrace.
a letter. A letter that says that I haven't done a thing, specific thing properly. So usually I'm being written up. So there's going to be another one in a few days, and there's not much you can do about it. But it's first reprimand that I have for almost 5 years working here. And remember, I made a video about when companies start losing control over an employee, that they no longer can exercise some kind of a pressure. It can be something like this. Usually people are getting fired or forced to quit. And not just that, over last 2 years after my poisoning that I had and the pain I experienced with, I'm starting taking more, I wouldn't say sick leave, but days off. And I was actually thinking of making adjustments from a schedule, and which means that because of the medical condition. So it's the same. Hours and everything, but less physical pressure. Okay. Well, let's see if they do it, but there's a possibility they won't. You see, I felt a change since I started talking about my mother's death, and I had several situations that I would consider racial provocations. And my mother's death was related, this is what I say, was related to nuclear proliferation in Africa. And impulse weapons that, based on impulse technology that my father created, are actually the base for impulse weapons that are being spread all over the world recently. Looks like the way I see it, because I know specific places where it came from and where it goes to, and why, most important part. And very big part of it is Africa, and a lot of connections here are in Atlanta, are actually with Africa. So, I'm just doing a closeout. It's raining outside. I wanted to close one of the gates, but anyway. So as I said, I talked about it a while ago, and I predicting it. You see, I repeat, if you have some kind of a thing going that people don't like, usually first they deprive you of income, and when I keep my ground in a way, I will, not much can do about it, because it's kind of a question of dignity. You know, there's a song called When They Come, I'll Stay My Ground. Well, that's what it is. Even though people don't like the song, because especially in the South, because I think it was used during Confederacy. Just telling in advance, I'm not racist, it's never been, even though people try to present me like one. So the thing is, again, it's the death of my mother, and there's not much I can do. You see, in the Bible and in everything, the respect for the parents is very important part, and it's not considered to be extraordinary thing. If you go save somebody from your relatives, it doesn't mean that you made a big thing. It's just your responsibility to do so. You see, a long time ago they murdered my father and they stole his technology, and I didn't have enough knowledge how to do stuff. Fortunately, after a while, I said, after 40 years, I have experience and knowledge. Will I succeed? You see, my mother died, and I simply couldn't save her as well, but at least I made her last years comfortable as much as I can, and I'm not going to allow people who murder her to get away with it. And unfortunately, some of them are. But I'm saying unfortunately because it's going to bring some shit on me. It's here from Atlanta, and some of them are minorities. This is what they call themselves. I'm here. I think they're majority. But anyway, because it's done in relation with Africa, there's not much I can do. You see, Africa, it's Africa, and it doesn't mean that you are called racist if you are, if somebody from related to Africa operations does something to a family, then you cannot say it. We are talking about, as I said yesterday in the video, that we're talking about murder of Americans. So this is what it is pretty much, and I hope people are understanding. And so, as I said, what's going to happen? This thing, unfortunately, at Allied Universal. Now, I work at Allied Universal. You see my chevrons here? Something's going on about it, and I don't know. It's worth to look at. There's another two companies that are very interesting. I'm very interested in that I watch after my mother's death. Is our company that I work for. We work for as Allied Universal. One of them is Cushman and Wakefield. Here we go. It's Cushman and Wakefield. They are real estate broker and big management company of real estate. And the second one is Arnold. Yeah, this is Arnold, the real estate group. I like Ardent, by the way. Several nice people. Unfortunately, I cannot say that about Cushman and Wakefield. And even though Cushman and Wakefield, I had more interactions with them since 2020. Almost 5 years ago. So I don't know what the deal, and I will have to look. I am. Don't forget, when you have somebody that does you harm, start looking into organizations that may be paying for it. Who remembers my older videos? And I talked about me working in hotels in Sofia, Bulgaria, and one of those hotels was a place where one of the financiers of possible alleged financier of assassination of attempt on John Paul II in 1981 was under house arrest. I don't know much to tell about them except that there was a room clerk, like a hotel clerk, and a lot of stuff were happening just in front of me, guests passing by saying hello. But what I learned about this, and people who were in politics and some of my former family members, they said very simple stuff. The money trail everywhere. It's very hard to hide. So if you have somebody like stealing your father's nuclear patent, use this nuclear patent to, how you call it now, unalive people, and it will always leave. It will always leave some kind of let's call it trace. So it doesn't mean that companies that you're looking at are involved or stuff like this, but it's always nice to look at the money trace maybe they do have. You see what I mean? So let's see. I'm currently I'm not in freedom to do so because I work for Allied Universal, and Allied Universal, is a contractor for some companies. So I don't want to get, in a way, be unethical as the Allied Universal employee. Plus, I promised the manager, the Allied Universal, I had to write him a letter once because my former manager here was procrastinating with one of my trainings, and I had to write a letter to the owner and the general manager, CEO of Allied Universal. And in this letter, I mentioned that I am planning to stay with Allied Universal till I'm 65. So I'm 62, I have 3 more years to work nice, but unfortunately, as I said, if I'm going to be dismissed from this place, which I don't exactly respect much anymore, there's not much I can do. I have no, ethical stop signs to hold me back. So I'm kind of interesting. As I said, and there is another reason. It doesn't matter what kind of a company it is. I have a right to press them in a way to find out what they know and have more information about situations like what happened like last summer. I was part of the entrapment, and one of my bosses, I wouldn't explain exactly what the entrapment was, but it was with money. So even though I'm not gonna talk about what the situation was, as I call entrapment, or look like one, there was a situation between one of the government organizations, and there was an error made that almost made me look like I'm trying to steal from the government, which I didn't. Actually, I went myself and talked to them and stopped whatever situation was starting playing out. And then suddenly the bank that I had to deal with double crosses me, and pretty much same time my boss at Allied Universal says that the client forbade him to pay me the specific amount of money that I was getting. And it was not always overtime, but it was a lot of time overtime. And this was one of the ways in the security business you can make extra money. And suddenly I lost. For me was a hit, because with this money I was paying everything and I would correct the error the government did. But I think as I said, it was done in a strange way. And not just that, it's almost make me look like a criminal. And actually I still have to deal with the situation, and it's kind of ugly. So, but I'm sure I'll be dealing it in Utah. See, this is the way I talk. I always talk. I had a little bit, always some kind of acid reflux, but for the last few years, but especially for the last 2 years, when I was poisoned with acid, I have sometimes situations that I barely talk. So that's what it is. And thank you, and see you guys when I see